So hello and welcome students and other viewers also in the series of this ICSE revision classes for grade 10. So we had started with chapter number 1, cell humne shuru kar diya hai, and we have already covered, I think this is my 4th lecture on the same chapter, cell. So what is all that we have covered, children? Do you remember? Chalo main tumko slide show kara deti hu. We had seen the contributions of various scientists, and then we started off with the cell organelles. उसके पहले हमने cytoplasm की बात की, हमने plasma membrane की बात की, और nucleus की बात की. फिर slowly we started with the other membranes. Yes. तो other cell organelles, sorry, not other membranes, other cell organelles की भी हमने बात शुरू की, और उसी series में फिर हमने एक एक करके one by one we started with endoplasmic reticulum हो गया, फिर Golgi body हो गई, फिर vacuoles हो गया, lysosomes हो गया. So we started with that, and so what can you see? उसी series में आज के lecture को start करते हुए, I just want to begin with this interesting fact that there are more bacterial cells in the body than the human cells. मतलब हमारे अपने cells से ज़्यादा आपको bacterial cells मिलेंगे अपने body में. 90% of the cells are bacterial cells which are present all over your digestive tract, your systems. Skin पे भी बहुत पाए जाते हैं. And that's actually more in number than our own cells. Okay. Last class में हमने vacuoles देख लिया था, जिसमें कि we discussed about the various functions of the vacuole and how it is very important in the growth of the plant cell, and it occupies 90% of the volume of the plant cells. It gives turgidity to the plant cells और कुछ anthocyanin pigments भी store करता है. So आज हम लोग क्या करने वाले हैं? Which are the organelles that we are taking up for today? So the organelles that I would be taking up today are mitochondria, plastids, ribosomes और centrosome. तो ये चारों के बाद we will be taking up the questionnaire series हम ले आएंगे, जिसमें कि we will take up all the questions related to chapter cell. So this chapter can be viewed even by the 9th standard students of both CBSE and ICSE, and definitely the 10th standard ICSE students. उनके लिए ये पहला chapter होगा. ठीक है? So straight away getting on with the mitochondria. तो इसका नाम तो सबने सुना है. What is it also called as, children? इसको क्या बोला जाता है? It is also called as the powerhouse of the cell, or the batteries of the cell. मतलब इससे आपको पावर मिलता है. तो पूरी बॉडी को जो पावर मिलता है, सेल का वो हिस्सा जो पूरी बॉडी के लिए पावर जनरेट करता है, वो होता है माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया में. It was first seen by Colliker. उन्होंने मसल सेल्स में इसको देखा पहली बार, लेकिन नाम mitochondria was given first by Benda. So questions can come accordingly, like Colliker और Benda दोनों हो सकते हैं ऑप्शन में. So you have to read carefully the statement of the question, whether it is asked the person who saw it for the first time or person who named it, and accordingly you're going to answer your question. Then, can you see it in any kind of cell? No, you cannot see it in any kind of cell. You definitely do not see them in prokaryotes. You only see them in aerobic eukaryotic cells. Okay, they are absent in prokaryotic and also anaerobic eukaryotic cells. Means those who will not be utilizing oxygen, even though they are eukaryotic, they will also not be having mitochondria in them. So आप देख सकते हैं mitochondria यहाँ है, यहाँ पे zoom करके दिया हुआ है. So what can you see, children? This is one membrane and this is another membrane. So this is a double membranous structures. Let me go into the details of the structure in this with the second slide. अगर आप यहाँ देखें बच्चों, तो ये देखो, इसको खोल के आपको दिखाया गया है, and you can see it in the microscope. It is quite chloroplast से तो बड़ा नहीं होता है, लेकिन you can see it in definitely in an electron microscope. तो ये इसका outer membrane है, and then you have another membrane, inner membrane. तो आप देख रहे हैं inner membrane में folds है. तो अगर मैं ऐसे बनाऊं, अगर मैं ये ऐसे बाहर का membrane बनाऊं, तो inner membrane में कैसे बनाऊंगी? ऐसे बनाऊं. ठीक है? So हम क्या कह सकते हैं कि mitochondria is a double membranous structure. It is a double membranous structure. Okay. What else is a double membranous structure? We have studied one double membranous structure already, and that was our nucleus. तो हम ये दूसरा डबल मेम्ब्रेनस स्ट्रक्चर पढ़ रहे हैं विच इज माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया। कैसा देखने में है, इसका शेप कैसा है, सॉसेज शेप। नो व्हाट इज द सॉसेज शेप, ये आपके हॉट डॉग्स जो होते हैं, ओके। Now it may be granular, filamentous, or even rod-shaped, spherical, or thread-like, or double, and of course double membrane. तो shape में हम variation देखते हैं. In fact, there will be also be variation in their number, depending upon the physical activity of the सेल। तो जिन पार्ट्स को ज्यादा फिजिकल एक्टिविटी करनी है वहां पे माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया का नंबर विल बी मोर, लाइक oocytes में द नंबर ऑफ माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया ऑफ द egg cells will have more of mitochondria in them, okay, as compared to maybe a sperm cell। थोड़ा बहुत चाहिए उन्हें मूवमेंट के लिए, but oocytes have very large number of mitochondria in them। Now what is the second point state, the outer mitochondrial membrane। आप देख रहे हैं outer mitochondrial membrane कैसा है, it is smooth, and inner is having many folds, many infoldings, अंदर की ओर folds हैं, so it is called as infoldings। And what are these infoldings called as, these infoldings are called as cristae। Cristae is plural and crista is singular। So the inner membranous lining has various infoldings। So ये infoldings की वजह से what is happening, the surface area is increasing a lot। So what is happening as a result of this increase in the surface area, whatever is present in this inner lining, cristae में जो भी मौजूद है वो बहुत ज्यादा मात्रा में मौजूद है और ज्यादा surface area वो available करा रहा है for the various enzymatic reactions, okay। The cristae, how are they? They are arranged in characteristic patterns in different cells, and they bear oxysomes or elementary particles। So they bear some kind of particles जो कि इस तरह के shape में होते हैं, जिनका एक head होता है और एक tail होती है। इनको oxysomes भी बोलते हैं या F0, F1 particles भी बोलते हैं। F0, F1 particles भी बोलते हैं। ये कहाँ होते हैं, ये इस cristae में होते हैं, okay, in the infoldings you will find it। Fine, what else is the peculiar thing about mitochondria is that it has its own DNA। ना हमने पढ़ा है कि न्यूक्लियस के पास अपना DNA होता है, and now we are coming to know that even mitochondria has its own DNA। and how is its DNA like, it has double-stranded circular DNA। तो ऐसा डीएनए किस में पाया जाता है, प्रोकैरियोटिक बैक्टीरियाज में पाया जाता है। सो द डीएनए विच इज फाउंड इन माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया, इसका अपना डीएनए है विच इज वेरी मच लाइक द बैक्टीरियल डीएनए, डबल स्टैंडर्ड सर्कुलर डीएनए। इट आल्सो हैज डीएनए है तो आरएनए भी होगा, सो इट विल हैव आरएनए टू, एंड इट हैज इट्स ओन राइबोसोम्स, ओके। So that's what we have seen so far about the structure। DNA mitochondria is generating power। so power मतलब क्या, power है तो मतलब क्या है उसके पास, कि वो प्राइम मिनिस्टर है कहीं का, हाँ, या उसके पास बहुत पैसे हैं, क्या है उसके पास। so उसके पास एनर्जी की करेंसी है। If I tell you that अगर मेरे पास बहुत एनर्जी है या मैं बहुत रिच हूँ तो डेफिनेटली आई बी हैविंग मोर बैंक बैलेंस, मेरे बैंक में बहुत पैसे होंगे, मेरे पास प्रॉपर्टी होगी, ये होगा वो होगा, यस। तो अगर मैं बोलूँ कि इट इज द एनर्जी करेंसी ऑफ द सेल, तो इसके पास क्या होगा, तो इसके पास ये मॉलिक्यूल होंगे। व्हाट इज दिस मॉलिक्यूल, एडिनोसिन ट्राइफॉस्फेट। इफ अ सेल is able to generate and is able to have lots and lots of this ATP molecule, then it is said to be having a lot of energy in it। and because for every time the cell needs to do any work, it will break down this molecule and take out energy from it and will be able to perform the work or do the work, okay। So what is this mitochondria doing, it is able to make this molecule ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate। what are the mitochondria, are miniature biochemical factories where the food is oxidized and energy is released। now this energy is stored in the form of ATP, therefore it is also called as the powerhouse of a cell। they also provide various intermediates for the synthesis of various or several biochemical like chlorophyll, cytochrome, steroid, etc। ये जो inner membrane है, cristae जो है, ये जो inner membrane पे बहुत सारे enzymes होते हैं for the electron transport system. अब ये जो energy generation, ATP generation जो है वो कई steps में होता है ना, glycolysis में होगा, ये हम respiration में पढ़ेंगे, we'll be studying a little bit about it in respiration. So it involves glycolysis, Krebs cycle, electron transport system. So all the enzymes for it are present in the membrane of the inner membrane of the mitochondria. ठीक है, so they are providing intermediate, so जो intermediate compounds जिनकी जरूरत है for the preparation of these important compounds such as chlorophyll, cytochromes and steroids, they are also made in the mitochondria. Now since mitochondria has its own DNA, RNA and ribosomes, so therefore it is able to वो अपना reproduction खुद कर लेता है, ठीक है, just like bacteria, fission के through it can carry out fission just like bacteria. So hence they are regarded as semi-autonomous organelles. Very important, you will know this, remember this. They are called as semi-autonomous organelles because of the presence of their own DNA, RNA and ribosomes. And also synthesis of many amino acids take place in the mitochondria. So that was about the structure of function of mitochondria. फिर से एक बार आप उसके structure को देख लीजिए. Outer membrane है. This is the outer membrane and that's the inner membrane. In दोनों के बीच में जो space है, that is called as the intermembranous space. And inside you will find its own DNA, its own ribosome. ठीक है, अंदर का जो matrix है और अंदर का जो space है उसमें there is some fluid present which is called as matrix. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे बहुत सारे chemical reactions हो रहे हैं inside the matrix of the mitochondria. Very, very important reactions. Now, next coming to the next important organelle, which is also a double membranous organelle, which is nothing but plastids. Now, what else have we studied about plastids is that they are exclusively found only and only in the plant cells. ठीक है, ये animals में नहीं होते हैं और ये भी कैसे होते हैं? Double membranous. Okay, so they are spherical in shape and they are enclosed in a double membrane. Plastids also are enclosed in double membrane. You will find them only in the plant cells. They will also have their own DNA, RNA and ribosome. So what have we seen? That every double membranous structure is having its own DNA, RNA and ribosomes, whether it is nucleus, whether it is mitochondria or whether it is plastids. Okay, and that is why even plastids are called as semi-autonomous bodies. And there is a very interesting history about the plastids and the mitochondria, जो हमने अभी भी पढ़ा कि plastids and mitochondria had their own independent existence, just as bacteria have their own independent existence even now. ठीक है? Why? Because they have everything in order to, which is required for independent existence, जैसे कि अपना DNA, their own RNA, ribosomes, etc. So they can do fission, they can reproduce themselves, and they can sustain energy. So क्या हुआ होगा कि they were living independently, and then they might have been engulfed by another bacterial cell or another big prokaryotic cell. लेकिन engulf होने के बाद उसका destruction नहीं हुआ होगा, वो symbiotically. What is symbiosis? When two organisms are living side by side. So cellular level पे भी हमने देखा कि symbiosis हो रहा है, wherein a big cell has engulfed an independent cell such as plastid or a mitochondria, and it did not kill that cell, it did not destroy that cell, rather it made use of that cell. So plastids ने क्या किया कि since it has pigments in it, so it was able to synthesize, do photosynthesis and prepare food for the cell, and the cell in turn would give energy and give a safe place, a more protective place for it. Similarly, mitochondria, उसने ATP synthesize करना शुरू किया for the cell which had engulfed it, and in turn it got other products required for its own better sustenance. So इस तरह से plastids and mitochondria became a part of the cell, and later on the cell evolved as a eukaryotic cell, wherein it has got more organelles which are exclusively meant for specific functions. जैसे एक ही cell में सब कुछ जैसे कि prokaryotic cell do not have well-defined organelles to carry out all the life-sustaining functions, but a eukaryotic cell does have. So that is how with the incorporation of structures such as plastids and mitochondria into a prokaryotic cell, that the existence of eukaryotic cell came into being. What can you see, children, in front of you? So this is the structure of a which plastid? This is the structure of a chloroplast. So we will now come to know or say that plastids are actually of three types. They are chloroplast, chromoplast, and leucoplast. क्या क्या है? They are chloroplast, chromoplast, and leucoplast. So we'll see them one by one. Okay. Now, depending upon why do we have these different types of plastids? Because there are different biological pigments present in all of them. Different pigments are there. So depending upon which pigment is present, they are classified as chloro, chromo, and leucoplast. So let us start with the chloroplast. The chloroplast भी हम बचपन से पढ़ रहे हैं, lower classes से पढ़ रहे हैं कि chloroplast have got chlorophyll in them. ठीक है, तो ये कहाँ पाया जाता है? But chloroplast कहाँ पाया जाता है? It is present in the mesophyll cells of leaves. ठीक है, और ये कैसे होते हैं? They are biconcave, convex shaped, semi-porous, again double membrane cell organelles. They are found only in the mesophyll cells of the plant cells, and which are the sites for synthesizing food by the process of photosynthesis. We all know that photosynthesis can take place with the help of a green pigment, and the green pigment containing organelle is chloroplast. ठीक है, तो अब थोड़ा बहुत हम स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ क्लोरोप्लास्ट देख लेते हैं, which we will again be seeing when we are doing respiration. जब हम respiration करेंगे तो क्लोरोप्लास्ट देखेंगे फिर से इन डिटेल. तो क्लोरोप्लास्ट में आप देखो फिर से बच्चों डबल मेम्ब्रेन है, आउटर मेम्ब्रेन एंड इनर मेम्ब्रेन. फिर आपको कुछ सिक्के जैसे दिख रहे हैं. कैन यू सी? ऐसे सिक्के जैसे हैं. ऐसे मैं बोलूं, अगर मैं ऐसे बनाऊं, there are some stacks of points. These are called as thylakoids, और इन्हीं में होता है हमारा क्लोरोफिल पिगमेंट. ठीक है, सो ये इसको क्या कहते हैं? इन स्टैक्स को क्या कहते हैं? वन बाय वन, दे आर कॉल्ड एज thylakoids. और पूरा एक स्टैक को हम क्या कहते हैं? ग्राना कहते हैं. ये आपस में जुड़े हुए भी होते हैं बाय स्ट्रोमल लैमिनाe. ओके, और अंदर का जो लिक्विड होता है, स्पेस होता है, दैट इज स्ट्रोमा. Okay, so let us go give a quick reading. Grana are made up of stacks of disc-shaped structures, which are, what are they called as, children? Thylakoids. You have to remember the grana of the chloroplast contains chlorophyll, and which are what? Which are the functional units of the chloroplast. It is because of this green pigment chlorophyll that the plant is able to do photosynthesis. Then अंदर का जो space है, matrix है, उसमें उसको stroma कहते हैं. It is a homogeneous matrix, and definitely it contains grana and is similar to the cytoplasm in the cells in which all the organelles are embedded. तो ये हो गया एक तरह का cytoplasm of the chloroplast. हमने बोला है ना, this is also a kind of a cell which had its own independent existence पहले, before it got incorporated into and made and into a eukaryotic cell. So definitely it required cytoplasm. तो ये जो अंदर का जो मैट्रिक्स है, it behaved like the cytoplasm of mitochondria. Stroma also contains various enzymes, DNA, ribosomes, and other substances. That is why it could live independently. Stromal lamellae, they function by connecting the stacks of the thylakoid sacs. ये हमने क्या बोला कि ये जो grana और ये grana, they are connected by stromal lamellae. ठीक है? What is this? This is the stromal lamellae. Okay. Now coming to the next type of plastid, which is chromoplast. The chroma means color. So any color other than green जो है, अगर in the plant's leaves, flowers, तो उसे हम बोलते हैं chromoplast. This is given to an area for all the pigments to be kept and synthesized in the plant. This can be usually found in the flowering plants, aging leaves, and fruits. तो एजिंग लीव्स जब वो येलोइश हो जाते हैं, फ्रूट्स जो कि रेड हो, येलो हो, इनमें हम क्रोमोप्लास्ट देखते हैं. ठीक है, chloroplast, they get converted into chromoplast. जैसे कि मिर्ची हुई या टोमेटो हो गया. So when they are unripe, when they are in the form of flowers, तो इनका कलर दूसरा है, whitish है. फिर वो green होते हैं. क्यों? Because they have chlorophyll in them. That is chloroplast in them. And then when they become ripe, they turn into red in color. So that's because the chloroplast get converted into chromoplast. ठीक है? तो orange और yellow color के लिए carotene होते हैं. ठीक है? Yes. Now, chromoplasts have got carotenoid pigments that allow different colors that you see in leaves and fruits, जैसे कि orange हो गया. The main reason for its different color is for attracting pollinators. So, क्यों ये color है? So that it can allow or go for the process of pollination by attracting various pollinators, insects, etc. Okay. Now the next type of plaster is leucoplast. Now, what is the meaning of the word leuco? Leuco का मतलब है white. तुमने white blood cells पढ़ा है ना? They are also called as leukocytes. So that's because they have no pigment or color in them. So these leucoplasts, which are found in plant cells, they are again non-pigmented organelles. They are colorless. They are usually found in the non-photosynthetic parts of the plant. जैसे कि तुम्हारा potato का tuber हो गया, that is storing starch. चावल के दाने हो गए, गेहूं का दाना हो गया. So that is, it is just simply meant for storing. So that what kind of plastic will it have? It will be having leucoplast. So they act as storage sheds for the starches, lipids, and proteins, depending upon the need of the plants. They are mostly used for converting amino acids and fatty acids. How many types of leucoplasts are there? So when it is storing starch, जब वो स्टार्च स्टोर कर रहा है, जैसे तो उसे कहते हैं अमाइलोप्लास्ट. सलाइवरी अमाइलेज आपने पढ़ा है. Another name for ptyalin, which is an enzyme in your mouth. What does that do? That digests starch, isn't it? So amylo is the name for starch. So that is why those pigments which store starch are called as amyloplasts. Okay. Then proteinoplasts, those which are going to store proteins, इनको हम alluron भी कहते हैं, alluroplast भी कहते हैं, ALU. Okay, and then you have got elaioplast, that is for storing oils and lipids and fats, basically. Okay. Elaioplast that helps in storing fats and oils that are needed by the plant. So these are the different types of leucoplast. Leucoplast में हमने देखा amylo है, proteino है, and elaioplast है. So that was about plastids. What is the other significant thing that we came to know about plastids? कि ये भी mitochondria की तरह अपना independent existence कर सकते थे, ठीक है? और symbiosis के through they got attached to the prokaryotic cell, and thus the prokaryotic cell evolved into a eukaryotic cell. Now coming to the next organelle, children, it is ribosomes. Now ribosome is one organelle which you will find in all types of cells, all types of cells, and this is also membraneless. It does not have any membrane layer over it. Okay? So what can you see in the diagram, children? Prokaryotic cells have a different kind of ribosomes, and eukaryotic cells have different kind of ribosomes. The eukaryotic cells have got 80 S of ribosomes, and prokaryotic cells have got 70 S ribosome. Now, what is the significance of the number S, of the alphabet S? S stands for Swedberg coefficient or sedimentation rate. That basically tells you कि कौन सा राइबोसोम कितना भारी है या dense है. ठीक है? So this simply tells you that ribosome what is their rate at which they will settle down or they will sediment. Okay, so accordingly, Mr. Swedberg had first calculated it. So he gave the numbers as 70 S and 80 S depending upon when they got sedimented or when they settled down, when they were centrifuged, when they were rotated at a very high speed in a centrifugal machine. Okay. Now coming to the discovery, it was coined by Palade in 1955. Children, the name of the scientist is important here. These are very, very small granules, and you will find them in the cytoplasm. You will find them inside the nucleus freely. You will find them associated with endoplasmic reticulum also. You will find them also inside the chloroplast, and you will find them also inside the mitochondria. Okay? They are scattered in the cytoplasm and also attached to the endoplasmic reticulum. Mitochondria में भी है, chloroplast में भी है. हमने अभी देखा. They are found in pro-eukaryotic except mammalian RBCs. Mammalian RBCs, they will not have mitochondria, they will not have chloroplast, and they will not have any other nucleus. उनके पास नहीं होगा. ठीक है? Now, third point, dense, smallest, membraneless ribonucleoprotein particle. Ribonucleoprotein का क्या मतलब है? वो particles जिसके पास ribonucleoprotein है. मतलब क्या है? RNA है, nucleic acid है और protein है. And which type of nucleic acid? RNA. Nucleic acids are of two types, children, RNA and DNA. So this ribosome, it contains RNA type of nucleic acid, and it also has got protein, and together this is called as ribonucleoprotein. So एक ribonucleoprotein का टुकड़ा which is present in the cytoplasm of the cell, of the nucleus, of the DNA, of the mitochondria, chloroplast, and also on the endoplasmic reticulum. It is called as ribosome. Okay? And on the basis of sedimentation coefficient, they can be 70s or 80s. Now, मैंने ये आपको explain नहीं किया है structure, बस आप मोटा मोटी देख सकते हैं कि राइबोसोम जो है वो 2 यूनिट का बना है. एक यूनिट is smaller in size and one unit is a bigger unit. The 70s is made up of 50 and 30 subunits, which in turn are made up of 5 and 23s and 16s. ये आपको अभी नहीं याद करना है. But yes, this you can remember that 70s is made up of 50s plus 30s, and 80s is made up of 60s, and 40s is the smaller subunit. 60s is the bigger subunit and 40s is the smaller subunit, which makes up a eukaryotic ribosome. तो इनका function हमें पता ही है. Since they contain RNA and protein, so they are definitely the ones which do protein synthesis, and thus are rightly called as the protein factories of the cell. फिर आते हैं हम सेंट्रोजोम, जो कि लास्ट ऑर्गेनल है जो आपको पढ़ना है. Now this is again membraneless organelle, or this is exclusively present in animal cells. We just studied plastids being exclusively present in the plant cells. Centrosomes are exclusive to animal cells only. कहाँ होते हैं? Near the nucleus. So location is near the nucleus. एक या उनके अंदर एक या दो centrioles होगा. तो ये देखो, ये centrioles, first centriole, this is second centriole, perpendicularly arranged है, और उनकी तरफ से ये जो rays निकल रहे हैं, which are made up of microtubules, ये together कहलाते हैं centrosome. Okay. What do? They are very, very important organelles which are involved in the cell division. जब cell division होता है तो ये spindle formation का काम करते हैं in order to separate the chromosomes. Okay. The centrioles are also responsible for the formation of cilia and flagella. अब cilia और flagella क्या है? तो ये locomotory organelles हैं जो कि आपको bacterial cell पे या हमारे cell में भी पाए जाते हैं. Suppose this is bacterial cell. तो ये एक एंड पे जो लंबी पूंछ जैसी होती है, टेल लाइक स्ट्रक्चर जो होती है, इसको फ्लैजिला बोलते हैं. एंड द स्मॉल हेयर लाइक प्रोजेक्शंस आर कॉल्ड एज, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज सीलिया, एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड एज फ्लैजिला. लोकोमोटरी ऑर्गेनल्स है. अदर फंक्शंस भी है, मगर हमें अभी डिटेल्स में वी आर नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. इट्स नॉट रिक्वायर्ड फॉर यू एट दिस स्टेज, व्हिच इज व्हाई आई विल नॉट गो इनटू द स्ट्रक्चर एंड आल्सो द डिटेलिंग ऑफ द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ सीलिया एंड फ्लैजिला फॉर यू. So this brings us to the end of the organelles. Microtubules और microfilaments भी हैं, जैसे cytoskeletal elements भी हैं, मगर वो हमें अभी इस 10th के लेवल पे आपको नहीं बताया गया है in the syllabus. So मोटा मोटी whatever I have covered so far is what is there for you for your 10th standard. And tomorrow I would be bringing all the questions which have been asked in your board examinations and important objective questions, diagram based questions मैं आपको लेकर आने वाली हूँ. So please watch the next class also, क्योंकि वो आपके preparation में for the examination boards बहुत ज़्यादा help करने वाला है. And also keep liking our channel, keep subscribing to our channel Unstoppable. Okay children, so I hope you're enjoying the classes. and it is certainly going to help you in the long run. Thank you very much, and stay happy and enjoy yourself. Thank you. Bye-bye, children.